So we're back. I'm going to do another sort of rant reaction about the Burnham special, just because it hit a certain way with the subject matter and how he presented it, and I just feel like a lot of people are talking about, so why can't I talk about it too? Just we'll all sort of pile on. Somebody creating something out there, they're being brutally honest, and I'm jumping on the let's all have a conversation about what they were trying to say. The song was Goodbye. I think the somber tone of the song definitely conveys the mental state that I think he's in currently, like what he's battling with. It's actually very reminiscent of, sometimes I just wonder, like, when you make the most of the opportunities that are available to you, and you're as honest as you can be about the life that you're living, if you should focus more on your productivity, your health, your well-being, or if it should be more, how is this going to affect the people around me? Like, how are they going to take the honesty that I'm putting out there? As it currently stands, it seems like it would be more beneficial for people to do more self-care, to be more aware of the person that they are on the inside, and to let that person grow, develop, and then introduce that person into the world, their satellite group of friends, family, what have you. But it seems like it's frowned upon. It seems like a lot of people are like, there's expectations, like you need to be the person that whatever you want to do has set up that you need to be. So the person that goes to work and does X, Y, and Z, whatever the job is, doctor, you work at Chick-fil-A, you work at a clothing store, what have you. You're a lawyer, and oh, you want a certain life, you got to be this person. It's like, well, what if I'm more than one person? What if I'm vulnerable? What if I'm the kind of person that, like, I need a minute every day that I come home to just kind of decompress, and I want to watch rom-coms, or I want to watch or listen to music that you may not expect I want to listen to, or I just need a good cry every now and then, because who doesn't love a good cry? Like, it's therapeutic, or it can be. I think that a lot of people need to be a lot more open about what their needs are, in a healthy way, but a lot more open about what their needs are, because it can be a lot to try and bottle everything up and then just kind of hope that you're able to muddle through until you can decompress, as it were. And especially with things being the way they are now, and not really being able to go outside and do decompressing the way people normally do, like going out, interacting with other people, taking trips, all that. It's infinitely more important to be aware of what you need to do to be okay within yourself, than I feel like it's been, at least in my experience in life. Just because if you have to sit with yourself, you need to be okay with you. So this Kanye rant song that he did, that was just very, like, if you hear it, especially towards the end, like, it starts out a little bit funnier, like it does like he does a jokey, like, it starts Pringles cans, and then something about burritos. It's like Pringles cans, burritos. Okay, so it does that, and then it goes into a very serious, the social anxiety that he's going through, dealing with what it's like interacting with the audience, and how much he needs it, but how much he hates dealing with people, and hates basically what he has to go through to get the attention that he feels like he craves. And I think that's kind of like an overarching, like, tone that he has with all of his songs, like Art is Dead, and all the different songs he's done. There's kind of this underlying, I need attention, but then there's also a part that's like, don't really give me all this attention. Like, I'm just saying, like, inappropriate things. I'm just saying controversial things. I'm just saying intentionally, I don't say upsetting. Like, I don't think he's intentionally trying to upset. I think he has a perspective that he has, and he's giving what his perspective is. And yeah, it'll excite people, incite certain people, but I don't know if it's malicious. Like I think he's just trying to like cause people to feel bad. Um, I think he's saying it because it's a conversation, or it's a topic, or it's something that a lot of people might address anyway. So he's like, well, I'm just going to talk about it. I'm just going to go as far with the topic as I possibly can, and we'll see if people laugh or anything. And then that ties into what he's doing with the Goodbye song, where he's having a lot of these conversations, and he's saying a lot of the stuff in the song that's very much touching on the idea that you're in a house, you're a person that thrives off of a crowd and getting that attention. You're telling jokes, which historically work with an audience, with no audience, and you're putting on this show for everyone, hoping that they enjoy it. I mean, you see outtakes like throughout the special that show, there's multiple takes that he's doing. There's multiple attempts that he's doing at the special, like the one-man show that he's doing, and then adding his own laugh tracks, adding his own music, like his musical stylings, what that he does for his comedy. And the song even gets to a point where it's, all right, like I'm leaving, but like, why not next time I just watch you try and put on a show where no one's laughing, and you're trying to create content, you're trying to create something for other people, but there's no one there to like feed off of. Like, a lot of people, they need to feed off of other people. I'll be honest, there's a lot less need for me to have other people to like bounce stuff out. Like I could tell a bunch of jokes, and I don't really need a crowd to laugh at it, because I think a lot of the stuff I say is funny. So like I'll say it because I think it's funny. But I can understand where he's coming from. Like, I can understand that in general, you might be able to feel validation within yourself, because you're like, I made a good joke, like, or I made a good point, or I made a good song, or piece of art or something. But if other people, like, there's like an outside person who's like, hey, it was good, it was nice, that's also really helpful. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chop all this up. It's gonna be all over the place. I talk faster, so how I'm gonna chop it up to make it work, I don't really know. But there's gonna be breaks. There are other songs on the special that are worth talking about, that I'm probably gonna get into in other videos, because the little rant that I did about his other song, How the World Works, seemed to have like a positive reaction from people. Like, people seem to watch it. So why not jump on that? People want to talk about it, and me talking about it, people are willing to watch it, so why not? There's a sadness that comes with creating really anything. Food, building a home, all that. There's a potential sadness of like the project is over. Like, I'm done with the thing. So now I have to see how people react to it. It could be positive. The hope is that it's positive, right? You hope people take what you've done, and they say like, hey, like, I appreciate what you've done. I appreciate the effort you put out. But you don't know. You never know until people actually are out there and experiencing what it is that you're putting out into the world. I'll say that the tone definitely comes off a lot lower than, I don't want to suppose that I know where he's at mentally. Everybody's going through their own thing, and with the quarantine, and not being able to be around other people, it can be a lot, right? But it definitely seems like there was an initial plan, like the beginning of 2020, and he references it in another song, beginning of 2020, like, hey, I'm gonna go back out, I'm gonna deal with people, I've been dealing with stuff, I've been getting better, and then the being forced to stay inside is difficult, because he's already been working towards getting better, was like, all right, I've made the decision to get better. I'll go out and I'll do things, and then that decision was taken, and now he's having to produce what he was already going to, or was working himself up to doing anyway, but he's going to have to do it in a space where he's by himself, which can be seen as, I guess, healthy if you have social anxiety, and like, you know, maybe not dealing with people constantly, like crowds, and having to deal with all that pressure and that judgment. But then there's also the idea that, like, but if you're craving that attention, you're craving that validation, and you're not able to get it, and you're working on this project for, you know, through the special he talks about, I think he said about a year. You're working for a year not knowing how people are going to take it. Like, yes, he's had other successful, like, people have liked other things that he's done, but there's no guarantee that people would be as receptive to what he did as they were. So that could be a lot. So experimenting with different camera angles, kind of jumping back and forth between different takes that I've done, and a lot of information that I've cut, edited, and want to be out there, but also want to convey a semi-linear, like, it's, none of this is really going to be linear when it comes to the stuff I'm saying, but like, I want to convey an idea, so the specifics of the reaction to the Bo Burnham song, but then also kind of throw a little random nuggets of information here and there. It's a format that I'm gonna be kind of experimenting with and playing around with. But yeah, there's gonna be some intense honesty, not to shout anybody out, or you know, call into question anybody's character or anything like that. But there's gonna need to be some honesty, because I can't possibly expect to build a community, a channel of people who are willing to be honest, both, you know, if they're talking to me, and honest with people in their own lives, if I'm not able to be honest myself. So there's going to be a lot more. It'll be spread. It'll be sprinkled throughout all the videos, but there's been a lot more honesty and a lot more openness about what I'm going through, what my experience is like, not just through growing the channel, but just what my experience is like with the reaction, the feedback, and all that stuff of the channel. So I think that there's a general mood that I think people are connecting to, the idea of isolation with the song, and I think that people are feeling the emotion that's coming through the song because it's coming from a very real place, and that's good. And they're hearing the words, and some people interpreting the words, and they're taking them to heart and saying, oh, wow, that's where this person's at. That's the headspace that they're in. But to be honest, it's a weird space to be that vulnerable with the world. You know, like, to tell everyone this is what I'm going through. Like I've said many times, it's going to be the point of basically everything I'm doing, being honest with, like, reactions, being honest with the stuff that I say when I'm doing rants and stuff. And that level of openness, that level of honesty, like, there were points throughout the song where he mentioned things, and points throughout the show where he mentioned things that are extremely personal and private. And those things are now solidified forever. Like, it's a comedy special. It will go on in, you know, the the World Wide Web. Like, it'll just be out there. So people now know how he was thinking, how he was feeling. And that's a lot. And for all of the people that are out there, you know, the YouTube channels, the Twitch streamers, just everybody creating content out there, there's a lot that goes into doing this. Not just the editing, but the just getting up, saying, hey, I'm getting in front of the camera and we're talking. Like, we're gonna do this. It's a lot, because there's a lot of judgment that can come with that. So I think that some people are looking at it and just seeing it as a song. And I'm not saying it's necessarily like a cry for help song. I don't know if I think that it goes that far. I think it's an honest song. Like, it's like, this is a place that I've been at, and this is a way that I felt about my current state, like, or the states that I've been transitioning through mentally. Because the song could have been made, you know, it said goodbye, but he could have made that at the beginning of quarantine and then gotten to a different place by the end, because he was able to express the feelings that he needed to express through creating the special. So again, I'm going to be doing more reactions like this, Comment down below any other albums, movies, TV shows, compilations, anything funny, anything that is thought provoking. Just any content that just you like, hey, I saw this and I was wondering what you think about it, because I got lots of stuff to say. We'll talk about everything, so that's what we'll do. And down in the description, like I said, there will be a link to the Patreon, and then there will also be like a description of what I'm talking about, and then probably a link to the Netflix special. Like if you want to watch clips, or if I'm able to find like a YouTube clip that is showing the song itself, I'll be able to link that, so that if you want to go and watch the clip, you can